Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. New video, and this is probably going to be the last video in the rear end restoration series, if you like. So I'm going to be fitting everything back now all the work's done, all the restoration work, cleaning up of the rust, etc. I'm going to be fitting all the components back to the car. As you can see, I'm getting everything laid out ready, and I'll try and give you as much detail as I can as the video goes along as to, torque settings, procedures, etc. As you can see, I've got the subframe back in already as we're speaking, and the tank, but I've got footage of that, so yeah, I'll include the footage and all the information, all the important bits anyway, as much as I can, so hopefully you'll get a good idea of what's involved. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in a bit. Yeah, so that's the bumper brackets on both sides, and the crash bar and brackets all bolted up. Right, so the crash bar bracket bolts on with those two bolts on the inside of the boot, those two 10mm bolts there. So you've got two each side, there and there. Then underneath the car, this is the back of the crash bar bracket, which you can see just there. Look, you've got these 13mm nuts, one there and two there, that form the fixings for the exhaust hanger as well. And on this side you've got another two 13mm nuts there and there. Right, so bumper's pretty much on. Bit of a pain in the ass, but just want to show you guys again. So this is the little fix for the saggy ass syndrome. So those bolts there, they're just galvanized roofing bolts, 6mm roofing bolts. They go behind that plastic trim. It's not on at the moment, so you take that black plastic trim off, jack your bumper up, so the gaps between the rear light cluster and the bumper itself is closed up. And then what I did is drilled through the plastic into the crash bar behind, and I drilled and tapped the crash bar behind, 6mm tap. So yeah, closes that gap up nicely. So yeah, I'm just going to finish bolting this up, and it'll be just the under tray underneath then. So the bumper fixings, there's two there underneath the boot lid. I think they're T20 or T25 Torx bit. You've got one that side. You got one that side. So I've glued these on, these brackets here. They're retrofit by yours truly. So they're glued on with a 2-part adhesive, plastic adhesive. And then I got a screw going through into a panel clip on this white bracket that you saw me fixing earlier to the side of the car. So those each side. And then of course you've got the rear under tray. So all along that lip where the bumper meets the under tray, I've put new fixings in. C-clips, panel clips. In that bracket there, above, I've put bolts in, zinc bolts. Again, the roofers, the same ones as I've used on the bumper into the crash bar, all coated in Dynax S50, the cavity wax. And there should also be fixings up in there as well, but one of them's missing there, as you can see, because those threaded studs got a tendency to corrode pretty badly. So, but that's not doing an awful lot, to be honest. So as you can see, all the heat shields are on, exhaust bracket, and behind the heat shield, the handbrake cables. Right, carbon canisters in, as you can see, and a few of the pipes, straps underneath the car ready, and the bolts. So fuel filler neck is going to be a bit of a challenge, getting that all lined up at the same time as getting the tank connected up. But I'll try and show you as much as I can. But I think this is going to be tricky, so excuse the poor cameraman work. So I'm just getting the tank roughly in position. so tank's up. Bit of a faff getting those tank straps bolted up. So that was the first thing I did really. Once it was up roughly in position on the jack, I got the tank strap bolts back in, and then I just started fitting everything else. Right, so as you guessed, it's time to get the knuckle onto the strut. Freshly powder coated knuckle onto the end of the strut. So what I do to help myself is put a small chisel in there to open this part of the knuckle up a little bit to aid sliding that in. So you just need to open it up slightly, you don't need to, you know, force it too much. There's a locating pin which has to slot in there where the just behind where the chisel is now. So that slides in quite easily now. So if I hadn't have put the chisel in, I would have struggled getting that in. But it's nice and easy. Put that chisel in just to open it up a little bit, and then without damaging the paint, take the chisel out. So now you can do your pinch bolt, the infamous knuckle pinch bolt. These are the ones that seize up. 15mm. And they torque up to, torque spec is 85 Newton meters. Right, so the bolts, they're a star drive, a male star drive bolt, and they are E14. They come with the SKF ones. So I just get them started by hand. Hub to suspension knuckle, 70 Newton meters. Got a wheel lighter in, as you can see, and I'm just going to get the strut in now. So what I found, this bracket here, I mentioned it in one of my previous videos, that bracket there on the back of the strut, that actually rests on this part of the subframe here, this plastic fitting here. And what you'll find is, if you've got the subframe bolted up in place, you'll struggle to get that in. So what I'm doing is just slackening those subframe bolts off just by an inch or so I can get the strut in at the top, just in place, rest it on there, and then line the bolts out, get the two 10mm bolts done up at the top. If you can see, yeah, get those two in, and then you can concentrate on getting the suspension arm bolts in and all the rest of it. So we're going to get the 15s in on the back, on the side of the knuckle I should say. Just start them loosely. So now the strut's in, what I'll do is get the jack under the hub, take the weight of the car just so it's slightly off of the stands, and I'll torque all those bolts out around the back. All the suspension bolts, basically, pretty much all of them anyway. Right, so now the weight of the car is on this strut. I can now tighten up all these suspension bolts. So the two each side, the two 15 mils, that one there and that one there, and the back 18 mil bolt, all at 120 Newton meters. So these brake caliper to hub bolts are 13 mil and they're 66 Newton meters. Calipers and the discs are on, brake lines connected, handbrake cables connected, adjusted. Didn't really see the point in filming that, to be honest, a bit boring, but yeah, fiddly as well, adjusting those handbrake cables up and getting them right. I don't think they're 100%, but we'll have to see how we go. So heat shields all in. Like I say, handbrake cables all adjusted up above, I think. Don't really want to have to take that back down again. So yeah, all I'm going to do now is fit the exhaust, get the wheels back on it, and they can go back on the ground.